My story, I have come to find, is like so many others, unfortunately. I and my 3 sisters were sexually abused by our biological father for most of our childhood. The abuse began before we could speak and continued into our teens. As you know, abuse was something that we never talked about, not even to one another. I do remember people talking about it though, but nothing was ever done. My mother was an alcoholic, and only when she was drunk did she have the courage to tell people about what my father was doing to us. That usually meant running outside, screaming and begging, pleading for help. So I guess the neighbors just didn't believe her, or they just didn't want to get involved. I remember my mom leaving my father many times over the years, taking us to different places, and he would always find us somehow. He abused my mother physically, breaking her fingers and ribs. He even had her committed for over a year at one time. Needless to say, my sisters and I came away from our childhood scarred. We lived our lives as adults the best way we knew to do. I tried to put the abuse behind me and continue with my life. I got pregnant when I was 17 and I married my high school sweetheart. I have 5 beautiful daughters and have been married to Mike for 23 years now. He is truly a gift from God. Back in December of 1999, my sisters and I traveled back to where we grew up and prosecuted our father for the abuse we suffered as children. We were very afraid and didn't know the laws, nor how we should even go about it. He was given 15 years per abused child, so I thought. But he will be out for time served in August of 2007. He raped my youngest sister when she was only 6 years old, and I just couldn't believe when they said he would be out next year. I felt so powerless and hopeless when I came back home after the last parole hearing in February of 2006. I felt like that little child again. I felt powerless to do anything and feeling that everything was just so unfair. I remember being in my kitchen. I had regressed back to that little child, and I just stood there screaming, pleading for someone to do something to keep another child from going through what we did. And then he gave me the song, Be a Voice. Although speaking is not something that comes easily to me, I can sing. I know that he gave me a voice to be a voice. It's very hard exposing myself like this to everyone, but I have decided that I'm going to put all those things aside, the shame, the fear, and concentrate on getting the message out to people that we have to be a voice for children. It's our job as human beings to get involved, to shed light on this ugly secret that no one wants to know about or talk about. We have come so far in this, the fight against sexual abuse, but you know there is still much more to do. If there were ever a worthy cause, this would be it. And I promise you, I'm going to sing the song every chance I get. I had mentioned earlier that I have 5 daughters. One of them was molested by a Sunday school teacher at our previous church. I prosecuted him, and when I said I wanted to make ribbons for people to wear supporting their stand on ending abuse, my daughter said that they should be white ribbons to show innocence. And that tells me that she understands it wasn't her fault. Believing your child is the most important thing that you can do for them as a parent. I am beginning to realize that for myself. It wasn't my fault. And for those of you that have listened to me this morning, and you can relate to what I've said, please believe it wasn't your fault. You are still that innocent child. Be a voice.